All right, neighbors. This summer we are working on being a good neighbor. One of our first baptismal vows is to resist evil and injustice in whatever forms they present themselves. We also know we can't just sit there and say no. We also have to work at making sure that as we're resisting, we're building a better world for all creation. So this summer, we're exploring what it looks like to be a good neighbor, to build that better world. And we're being led by Fred Rogers and Jesus in that work. So this week, we explore what it means to be loving. And we saw that in this clip, right? To go from, we're talking about balloons and air, to like, hey, what's assassination? Right? There is no moment that is more real about working with children than to go from something that you think is about one thing to something that is apparently about something completely different. Lady Aberlin just goes with it. Oh, well, let's talk about that instead. She is loving as Daniel Tiger's needs shift. She is loving as they realize they have different needs for how they're going to process what's going on. And she shows us what it looks like to live that love and to be there with and for other people. And I feel like that is a good lesson for us today, right? To be loving. It feels like it's a simple teaching, right? Oh, last week, be yourself. Not as easy as we think. Be loving. It should be the whole sermon. Just be loving. The end. And then you look around and there's the world and it's just like, clearly, we need some help. We need some clarity and we need some direction. So the clip that we watched is from 1968. It's in the land of make-believe. And so Daniel Tiger and Lady Aberlin are hanging out. If you watch the full clip, they spend a good 30 seconds to a minute playing with the balloon. You blow it up and you let all the air out. Then we do it again. And then, after what we saw ends, Mr. Rogers comes on. And he's like, hey, parents, you might have noticed that your kids, like Daniel Tiger, are hearing a whole lot about assassination because Bobby Kennedy was just shot. And Mr. Rogers goes on to beg parents to protect their kids, to limit what kind of information they're taking in, and to just sit and process that with them. Both in example and in direct, here's what you need to do. They're showing us what it looks like to love each other. And so I'm grateful that we have not only this example, but also Psalms like today's that say, here is the thing. Because it's easy to go, okay, I should be loving. How? I thought I knew what being loving looked like and felt like, what it meant to do. And then sometimes life hits and you're like, oh, clearly I have a different understanding of feel believed. Right? And we hear, come, children, listen to me. Let me teach you how to honor the Lord. I'm like, yes, teach me. Do you love life? Do you relish the chance to enjoy good things? Then keep your tongue from evil. Keep your lips from speaking lies. Turn away from evil. Do good. Seek peace and go after it. Right? Okay, God values honesty. And when we say true things and we work toward the truth, we're honoring God. It's pretty clear. It's not always easy, but it's pretty clear. And to turn away from evil, do good, right? These are in some ways as wide-ranging or overly general as be loving, But the challenge and the importance is in how broad and vague and demanding these big commandments are. Right? Does it seem evil? Okay, if it does, then turn away from it. Not just don't do it, but turn away. Right? Don't entertain it. Don't engage with it. Don't play devil's advocate. right? The devil needs no advocates. He has plenty. Don't pretend to be evil so that you can try to convince other people to turn around, right? In our baptismal vows and our membership vows, we use the phrase resisting evil and injustice in whatever forms they present themselves. Okay, great. That breadth makes it clear that this is important. So what exactly is evil? Right, as United Methodists, we use the idea that it's anything turning us away from God. When we follow Jesus, it's anything that goes against the way Jesus taught or lived. Right? We're not just talking like this red-faced devil with horns and a tail. Sometimes evil is the promise that you matter more than other people, so you can just do whatever you need to take care of yourself. Right? There's all sorts of options. There's all sorts of possibilities. It doesn't have to be big and it doesn't have to be obvious, but in every single case, the psalmist answers, okay, turn away from it. Don't even mess with it. And not only are you supposed to leave it alone, but instead do good. And that's paired with seek peace. It's not enough to turn away from evil and do good. Doing good is seeking peace. Doing the things Jesus did. Doing the things Jesus commanded, seeking peace. Right? Not just a sense of like, oh, we're not going to talk about that one anymore. But the peace that comes from justice. The peace that comes from saying, this isn't working, and creating something new instead. Seek peace. Not just because it's the opposite of evil, but it's the opposite of evil because God cares. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. God saves those whose spirits are crushed. And I think that's the sort of love and care we long for from each other, or that we see exemplified in this clip, right? Closeness, compassion, rolling with the seemingly sudden changes that are actually just getting to the heart of what is very important. Recognizing that we're all different. They're all going to deal with their suffering and uncertainty and brokenheartedness differently. But that God is close when we are brokenhearted. And so whether we're dealing with the assassination of Bobby Kennedy and trying to figure out our feelings about this thing that is suddenly out there and big and all over the place and confusing, or we're dealing with the assassination of social services, institutions that literally keep people alive and help us to thrive, we're all going to deal with it differently. The promise is that God is close to the brokenhearted. The promise is that God has taught us how to live. That God shows us what it looks like to love and to be loving. That God is with us in that huge variety of what that looks like. As the Reverend Traci Blackmon posted on Friday, one of the things I love about my faith, she says, is the is-ness of God. God is never spoken of in past tense in terms of God's being. God's existence and presence and sovereignty are eternal. They're spoken of only as present and future. I am who I am, God says in Exodus 3:14. So my time rehashing has already happened. Rehashing what has already happened is defined by its usefulness to where we are now and where we are going. She continues, the bill has passed. We were unsuccessful in stopping it. There are many reasons for this, many players involved, many reasons to be angry, many reasons to lament, many reasons to ask ourselves what went so wrong that we ended up here. And we should do all those things. But the vote is done, but the battle is not over. This is not the end of their plan. So what did we learn? What do we know? How do we prepare for the fight that is ahead? Rest? Yes. Mourn, yes. This was a death-dealing day. And know this: death will not have the final say. Resurrection is coming, and it may not be tomorrow, but get ready, because it will come. Our neighborhoods will thrive, our children will know the truth, our elders will be cared for, every stranger will be welcomed, the hungry will be fed, and justice will come, because the is-ness of God demands it, and no stone is big enough to stand in its way. Onward, family, she says, our work is not in vain. And so whether your response to the bigness of the world, all that's going on in the 24-hour news cycle that just makes it hard to get away from it, whether your response to all of that is to stay home, just hang out with your balloon, or go to the picnic and remember what is good and why life and love are good and important. Know that God is with you, and we are with each other. We know how to be loving. We just have to go be loving. Thanks be to God. Amen. Amen.